everybody. Welcome to Makeup Effects Live at IMATS 2015. I'm Matt Winston from Stan Winston School, and I'm sitting here with the executive producer of IMATS, Michael Key. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Matt.
See you. Thanks for having us. This is your party. We're just filming it.
Yeah, well, this is your thing. We've never done anything like this before at IMATS. I mean, 54 shows, 18 years, and we're doing something live, much like what we do on the main stage, but you're doing it that's going worldwide. Well, I love that.
When you approached us about the idea, we talked about ways to create a webcast, and really what we came up with is how can we, in one day, give people a sense of every artist on the floor. We're really here in Hall H. And so the format of today is to do that, is to basically go through all these wonderful people. And if we can get one camera to pan out a little bit, Ben, just shoot out a little bit into the room. There's a whole bunch of people here. And throughout this webcast, you're going to meet them all, pretty much all of them. Michael, tell us a little bit more about IMATS and Makeup Artist Magazine. You can start with either one. For those who are not aware of both of those.
Sure.
Programs.
Well, we'll go chronologically because I think that makes the most sense. In 1996, I was a motion picture makeup artist and had a fine career going with that.
Two-time Emmy winner.
Yeah, I got a chance to get a couple statues, which I'm very thankful for. And we didn't have a magazine. We didn't have a way to connect our community together in a way that I was a little bit jealous of, like American Cinematographer magazine, which they, that's something where they could end up seeing and celebrate the art of what they do, that behind-the-scenes movie-making aspect. And there was nothing for makeup artists. I mean, there was a little bit in what Cinefix had.
And
that was cool.
Fangoria for the monster fans, and the Blood and Guts fans, but no makeup artist-centric.
Yeah, nothing specifically for us. And I wasn't looking for a career change. I was fine being a makeup artist, but my wife and I decided to start doing this. We did it on the dining room table of our home.
That's where everything good starts, on the dining room table.
So in 96, we started doing it in the middle of 96, and then it was very difficult, though, to be able to let people know. Because you remember, there's no social media. The Internet's brand new. I mean, email is still fairly fresh for us. So we had a way to get, even search engines, was in its infancy. So we needed a way to be able to let everybody know that we had Makeup Artist Magazine. So since I didn't have a background in publishing, what I did was I talked to other people who had been really doing this, the real professionals. Said, well, how do you grow your audience for a magazine, for a trade? And they said, well, trade shows is really where you want to do that. Oh, okay. So I called my advertisers.
So if we're going to do a magazine, we got to create a trade show to promote the magazine.
Well, no, I wasn't even there yet. No, I did is I called my advertisers, and I said, where do you exhibit? Because wherever you're at, that's probably where we should be. And they would tell me, well, we tried this show. We went to beauty shows, but they're really hair and nail shows. They're not makeup-centric. And they said, well, actually, we really don't do much for shows. After about the 10th call like that, I realized there's no show that it really takes care of makeup, which I thought was insane, considering how big makeup is. Not even just movie makeup, but just makeup in general. There's nothing makeup-centric.
My wife loves makeup. Everyone loves makeup.
Yeah, half the people on the planet are usually enamored with makeup. So there's no show just for that. And I realized we were really the best entity to do that, because we were mutually beneficial to the entire industry. Unlike a manufacturer or a school or anything else that had competitors, we had no competitors at that time. So throwing caution to the wind.
And you jumped in, and it started on your dining room table. And how many years later, here you are in this Pasadena Convention Center. That's where we are, by the way. Beautiful location. And you're seeing just a fraction of this show. This is Hall H. And then there's a whole giant airplane hangars worth of stuff going on in the next room.
Actually, to be clear, we're in D&E.
Oh, is it D&E? I'm sorry.
H is where the museum is.
Oh, H is, okay, got it. Yes. You will go to H later. I've been teasing you about H.
I don't want to let you be saying that all day long in H, and everybody's going, where the hell is H?
I can't find it.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on the success of both the magazine and the convention. And there are IMATS all around the world. This is just the LA IMATS.
But you know what's really great is that we only have 6 shows. I say only. But there's only 6 cities in the world where we do this. And what you're doing right now, you're getting a chance for really the rest of the planet to be able to join in and get an idea what's going on at IMATS.
Well,
I love that.
That's actually gives me a great reminder. All of you watching now, and I know this first chunk, you're all going to be trickling in from all corners of the globe. take a moment to type in where you are from. Already, we know we have viewers from London, we have viewers from France, North Carolina, a faraway country, North Carolina, Canada, Spain. I saw some earlier from Japan, Malaysia, viewers from all over South America. So take a moment in the keyboard. If you're watching this on the Makeup Artist Magazine feed, click the YouTube icon, and it'll take you to the feed where you can type in comments. Just tell us where you're from. And throughout the day, we'll give you shout-outs, and we'll give some promotion to your country. That's what this is really all about.
That's
promoting.
Incredible.
So yeah.
That
so there's
is
people
so
all over the
cool.
place. I want to lay some ground rules for this broadcast before we jump into our first guest, Michael, who is Craig Reardon, makeup effects legend. Before we bring Craig in, a couple quick things. It takes a very cool team working very well together to pull off a live webcast. I want you to briefly meet them. So Johnny, will you be panning the camera? Once again, we'll start with Ben Saltzman. Ben Saltzman on camera. And we'll work our way around the room. That's Michael Key. You met him.
You already saw me.
I'm Matt Winston. I'll be kind of hosting today. And we're coming around to the beautiful bearded Jake Borowski, also on camera. He hides things in that beard. And we have sales mistress Bonnie. And we have Eric Lidoff, co-founder of Stan Winston School. Peter Gould on sound. We have Megan Billingham interning with us today. And we have Teresa Loera, who is our live show producer, back there sweating it out. Andy Olek will be switching the feed and tech directing. And that about covers the crew. That's the Stan Winston School of Character Arts crew, and thank you all. So if you like what's happening today, it's their fault. If you don't like what's happening today, that's their fault as well. All right, so why don't we jump right into, final thing. We encourage interaction from you guys. This is not a one-way webcast. You guys can write in, and we will let you drive the train as much as you like. So any questions you have about Michael Key, his career as a makeup artist, Makeup Artist Magazine, IMATS, please ask, and I will be texted, and I will ask those questions. Same for Craig Reardon. So Craig Reardon, why don't you get in here, dude?
We'll get that.
Ladies and gentlemen, makeup effects legend, Craig Reardon, and yes, you are a legend.
Okay.
Welcome.
Well, thank you.
To the webcast.
Thank you very much.
For those of you out there who know anything about makeup, he needs no introduction. But for those of you who are not aware, you certainly know his films. You've seen his work in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, a big part of Rick Baker's team on that. Poltergeist, a practical effects clinic from start to finish. Weird Science, Dick Tracy, Goonies, which I just rewatched with my kids the other day, and it holds up. Without a Trace, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Star Trek. We all have Star Trek connections. Deep Space Nine.
Thank God for it. Yeah.
And he's this guy's an Emmy winner 2-time, just like Michael, for the X-Files.
I think it's
3-time. It's
3.
3.
Well, I've got a daytime too.
3
I'll
and a
sneak
daytime
that in.
and a daytime Emmy. So technically 4-time Emmy winner. And you've done it all, and you've been around for a long time, and you're a very talented man, and we're very lucky to have you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Matt.
It was Michael's idea to have you on as the first guest. So
wow.
why Craig, Michael? Out of all of the people we had.
Well, the reason for Craig was that early on in my career, Craig was generous enough to give me a job, and I got a chance to work with him in a small crew, which was really great. And that wasn't inspiring enough to be able to work with him on that. We've been able to work together over the years on Star Trek, on Grinch.
You guys shared an Emmy
And on
Star
a show
Trek,
called
yes?
Weird Science, where I had, I think, more fun than anything. Mike did something for one episode called The Steves. The Steves. They're all named Steve. They come from this planet, and they look like kind of like pigs. And
I forgot you were on that
They're
one.
these sort of slow-thinking, slow-moving characters, and they're all named Steve. This is Steve, and over here is Steve.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And that was a funny series. And we also worked on one with Richard Mall as a screwy-looking Frankenstein.
He doesn't need much makeup, that's what's great with Richard Mall. He's big, scary guy to be with.
And a great face. He's an actor. So, I mean, he's sort of sedate, reads the newspaper, comes in, then comes out Richard Mall. Best remembered probably as Bull on Night Court.
Of course.
If anybody's old enough to remember Night Court.
Yeah.
And lots of genre films.
Yeah, and always nice to work with
I
Mike,
forgot
'cause
we
he's
did
got
those
a-
together.
Yeah, I will.
I did that. That's just really great.
And
Yeah, 'cause we're
and
so
get
tired.
this, at the time he did that, he's not only trying, he's already launched his magazine. So how does he do it? That's at least 3 things in the air. And now, I think Michael Key is probably the champ juggler of the century.
How do you do it? A magazine, a makeup career, and a show. What?
Yeah.
How do you?
Well, much like what you're doing here, you can't do that by yourself. You're only good as the people in your team. And I
That's
have
true.
an absolutely amazing team to be able to pull this off, to have thousands of people come be a part of this. The scale is staggering at times. Can I tell a story?
Yeah,
Could you just
go ahead.
remind me of something that I've forgotten about that episode with the Steves?
The Steves, yeah.
Television, things have to move so quickly, and making these aliens and the animatronics that are inside of it, and the servos, and all the things that are being done, and that's for a TV episode.
Yeah.
I painted all those aliens the night before. It was one of those things where we're up against the wall. So I'm up literally all night painting these alien
Huffing
heads.
paint at 4 a.m.
So then
Hoping
I
it looks good.
put them all in my car the next morning, go to Universal, put them in the trailer, and I'm blurry-eyed. And who comes walking in my trailer is Rick Baker, because he's shooting Nutty Professor across
I remember
the way.
that, yeah.
And he
No
comes
pressure.
in, and Rick goes, "Ooh, aliens!" And going, "Rick, go away, Rick." Go. Because I painted all these in one night, so it's like, don't look too close. Go away, Rick. He says, "Ooh, aliens!"
Well,
Damn it.
you both have lots of experience with Rick,
Yeah.
and we would love to get to some of those while we have you here.
Sure.
And I would love to jump in, since you've brought some eye candy with you, to some of the photos that you showed last night. Do you want to sort of
here we are.
remind those who weren't here last night what last night was all about with Craig, and what you guys covered in a nutshell, and then we'll get to some photos.
Well, I was very honored that Craig came, because he's a dear friend. He doesn't usually like to come to these things. He's a bit shy for that. And this is the very first
I'm a
IMATS
stay-at-home.
show. I am right in saying that, aren't I? This is the very first
It's the
IMATS show
first
you've been
time
to.
after all the stuff that Mike's done. I was always reading about it, always just like, oh my God, now what has he done? But I didn't. I just don't. Not a big jillions of people person,
So I was honored you would come and be a part of this.
Oh
And
well, listen, I was very pleased.
Well, I know the
was
day is
honored.
not over, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you think this will get you out of the cabin in the mountains? Will you come down more often and
That's
hang
what
out
my
with
wife
us?
asked the same question. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Good.
it is that you hit the water and you go, hey, not
It's
bad.
nice.
Woohoo.
It's nice. We worked together. We
Try
did
to splat.
pig-faced characters named Steve.
Right. That's what we should do. A demo and do the Steves. Bring the Steves.
If you want them to bring back the Steves, type in the comments, and
That's right.
we'll do some kind of special edition.
Yeah.
Well, this will be fun.
webcast.
I didn't get to see any of these last night because they were on
Oh,
the
that's
screen,
right.
and we couldn't
Nor
see
did I.
them.
Yeah.
So tee this up. What are we about to see, Craig
Is
Reardon?
your,
A taste of.
Is your image good, fellas?
Let's make-
Oh, okay.
There we go. There's what they're seeing right
Did
there.
did I ruin it? What's better? How's that go?
Cool.
Okay, I'll sneak in order to without blocking this. Without blocking the screen. Well, this is. Should I, Matt? Do you want me to narrate?
Yeah.
He went away. Help!
Yeah,
Help!
go ahead.
Help! Technical people.
They will. It'll go.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks, John. Yeah, that's. This is a makeup I did on my brother Jeff, in 1975, when I was 22. And there was a magazine called, it was actually a fan magazine called Cinefex. But it was a Cinemagic. Gosh, thank God Michael's here. Cinemagic. And it was published in Baltimore. It was a fan magazine. And, I'm a guy named Don Doler. I don't even remember how I found out about it. There were some early contributors to Cinemagic, like Ben Burt, who's now like a multi-jillion Oscar winner sound expert. But these were people starting in backyard movies, really. I mean, and so to the point, Don accepted a couple contributions from me, and then he told me at one point, this was in the even earlier 70s, he said, I'm going to do a softcover book, see if you can think of something to do. So I thought, what'll I do? And I actually did a whole page full of sketches, all different kinds of characters, and I thought I would do a version of the god Pan, the satyr god, but make him look more like the goat whose characteristics he has in his behavior, not something more than just the little horns, and went pretty goaty. And so this I did, and did it with just a simple shell latex. It isn't even foam latex. And put it together, described how I did it, and I tried to demystify it enough so that anyone enthusiastic about makeup might be encouraged rather than, oh my God, they'd say, oh, hey, well, that sounds simple. I think I'll try it. You know, that was my motivation. But what happened was Don didn't publish his book, and the thing went in the locker, and it didn't, I thought it would never see the light of day. And then it was published when Kerry O'Quinn had a magazine called Starlog.
Of course.
And then he published that on the cover 6 years later in 1981. And I've since received a lot of very gratifying feedback from some very talented people who told me that thing on the cover kind of leapt out at them from the newsstand, and then they read about it. And well, one rather than names one guy told me he dropped a career in advertising and decided to be a makeup artist. Who could get a more amazing compliment?
That is, if your artwork can inspire someone else to jump into art, that's about as good as it gets.
And the only regret I had with it being 6 years later is by that time movies like The Island of Dr. Moreau with John Chambers, Tom Berman, Mike McCracken, beautiful makeups, and I thought, oh shit, it's just going to look like, you know, a recycle, because I really, you know, it's not that. Of course, you had the beautiful The Beast in the French version of the Jean Cocteau Beauty and the Beast, so nothing's absolutely new. But I was proud of the fact that I'd adapted at least something besides a wolf, you know.
That's the trick, is to put your own spin on it, but also ground it in the genre, so it's still recognizable. Sometimes, you know, you go too far, like, that's not a wolf man anymore. I'm sorry. There's no hair on that creature.
Yes.
So it's like you have to find the balance.
Yes, if you humanize them too much, and then we've all seen just a wolf.
Yep.
And that somehow doesn't click as a wolf man. Something's missing, the man part.
Yep.
So yes, it's the challenge is to put something together that will seem like a effective synthesis that'll look kind of cool in and of itself. And what is that thing? I don't know. And we don't know. But we try it, and we go with the old gut.
That feels right.
Yeah.
It feels like it could exist in nature. All right, what else do you
I'll
have
move
to
ahead,
show us?
fellas. So there's other views of Jeff. And this in brief, that's the actor Clu Gulager, wonderful guy. It was a black and white movie, so the color wasn't really the thing. Clu was in an AFI film around the same time as David Lynch was making Eraserhead. A young man named, oh Christ, what's his name? His whole family has gotten into the business. No, not Hunt Lowry, that's his brother. Dick Lowry had written a script, was going to shoot a black and white film about 30-minute long. He got Clu, who was a very, very active television actor and was active in films. And I recognized him, so I got on the thing. I prepared some bruise pieces out of gelatin. They melted. One of those. You're out in Lancaster. It's 119
Gelatin
out.
will do that to you.
It sure did. And
she's a fickle thing.
Oh,
that
brother.
gelatin.
Agreed.
So I had some mortician's wax. So what I did, I had to make this out of mortician's wax every shooting day and try to match it. But
well, it looks suitably injurious and
well,
gruesome.
he's a dad that gets the hell beat out of him by some recalcitrant workers that he fires, and they come back and wallop him and embarrass him in front of us. It was a good little melodrama. So he had to look. The humiliation the character felt had to be, as the producer said, we've got to see that in the way he looks, why he feels that way.
Yep.
Craig,
Craig, I hate to interrupt you. Our segment is we have
is over.
No. We have 4 minutes. We're going to pad it a little bit.
I will power through.
So power through a few
That's
images,
Universal.
and then we want to send people over to where they can
That's the great
find you.
Chris Mueller right there.
Nice.
He's the man that sculpted the creature from the Black Lagoon. That's Chris. And this is in 1977. I'm in the old, the second Universal makeup department upstairs. This character is something Chris did from a sketch I did. This was for Battlestar Galactica. I don't think they used it. That's something that I did for Battlestar Galactica. Get your hand off that girl. That was going to have a cat head, and I did the head, and unfortunately I haven't a picture of it.
Not used on broadcast
They
TV.
didn't use that either.
I wonder why.
Well, they were going to actually put a multi-bra on her. This is a couple of, one character from Battlestar. This is the original sculpt for the American Werewolf in London. Rick changed it later, but I did that original.
You just ran by that. Hold on, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen,
that's
Craig Reardon was on American Werewolf in London. I mean, you were part of
it was fun.
one of these seminal films of all of our lives.
It was a great opportunity. Rick knew it, and we all knew it. He had some younger guys than me that were barely in their 20s. I was in my late 20s. Steve Johnson, Kevin Brennan, Tom Hester.
Who's going to be on the show later today, Tom Hester.
Oh, fantastic, yeah. Et cetera, you know. And so this was huge, by the way. This head was that big, the shoulders very big. And but Rick, you know, is a perfectionist in his own right. He also decreed a costume. We're going to go to a costume party. You will all do a makeup. So I did this on myself.
Nice.
That same during
That's
that
you
same
under
project.
all that as a
At 27,
27-year-old.
yeah.
Hard living 27, Craig.
Yeah. Now this is a man in Australia, Arthur Dignam. He's made it for a movie called Dead Kids. He had to be disguised. So that's a hard face to disguise. So that's what I came up with.
Well, Craig, I hate to say it, but we have to move on to our next segment, and you've just teased all of us.
Well,
with a few of them.
I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
that hopefully one day I'm going to have a book, an illustrated book with all these pictures and more, and some recollections. So
Fantastic.
now I can't give you a timeline, but I mean,
you have to share it because it's history, it's movie history, and your window into it is so.
Well, so was your dad, and I have to squeeze in. Stan Winston was one of the most remarkable people I ever met. I don't think anybody that ever met him didn't feel like they'd had a live wire in their hand.
I was electrocuted a lot in my childhood.
This man had no fear.
Let me tell you.
He had the confidence of the giant that he was. You know, I was like Michael Key. I saw Stan. He was already here, and he went right into outer space.
Well,
so it's a
thank you,
pleasure to
Craig.
say publicly what a guy he was. And you're a fantastic guy, too.
Well, thank you, Craig. Now you're invited back after saying those nice words. Thank you.
And I met Matt when he was quite a young lad.
Probably 5. Over at
Tom
Berman.
Berman's studio.
Yeah, 5 years old. So now So we got to say goodbye.
Thanks for
where
coming,
can
my
we
friend.
find
Yeah,
you?
pleasure.
Do you have a web presence at all, Craig?
No.
You live in the cabin
God
in the hills.
forbid, yeah.
All right. We will keep you in the loop on Craig's whereabouts to follow his artwork. For now, he is unreachable because he is a recluse.
Yeah.
We're very happy to have him here this weekend. This is really exciting.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Good.
Thank
Catch up
you
with
for
you in a
joining
bit.
us. And on your way out, question.
Oh,
Yeah.
When were you least hopeful about your career, and how did you get over it? But you can only give a 2-sentence answer because this segment
A couple
is
of
over.
years ago.
A couple years ago, and how did you get out of it?
Well, I tell you, you know, I mean, half joking, but how you get out of it is you just look at your past. You look at the fact you had a life and something you loved. What could be more rewarding? You know, you have to sometimes count your blessings, to use a well-worn cliche. But I've had enormous blessings. I've met some wonderful people and, you know, worked in the movies. Everybody loves the movies, and I did as a kid, and by golly, I got to do it. And very
That's
grateful.
good advice for anyone in this world, especially an artist for whom things can be up and down. It's a rough road, but
Yes.
if you're gracious about it, you'll survive.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very
Great.
much, Craig
Thank
Reardon.
you.
And
Thanks,
that
bud.
concludes our first segment. When we come back, and Michael Key, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we are going to be heading over to the Makeup Museum, and you'll be meeting Sam Bakarian from Namies and Berman Industries. No, Mike Hill? Okay, Mike Hill was going to join us. He won't be there, but you'll see his work. You'll be meeting Mark Viniello and Andy Schoenberg as well. And thank you so much for having us.
Love
we are
having
going to
you
be
here.
here all day long, and
Excellent.
we might have to pull you into the booth later on. Would you be up for that?
I'd be up for that. As long as my assistant Amanda says I can come do it, then I'll come do it.
Very good. Thank you, Michael Key, for inviting us here. And check out his website,
Thanks,
Makeup
guys.
Artist Magazine. You can also go to imats.com.
imats.net.
imats.net. And all these links are in the description of the video feed. So check out all things Michael Key. And we will see you guys in about 5 minutes in the Makeup Museum.